This guy be on the record as saying, all in all, I prefer to go with prefab steel buildings. Um, that would be my prevailing thought on that one. Only for the ease of putting things in place. Effectively, we will need about a 12-man crew and probably 4 to 7 earth days. Effectively, we pour the foundation and let it dry, and then you can erect a prefab steel truss style system on top of it, probably 40 by 30. A couple of those that we put in place, two for primary op centers and two smaller ones, maybe 20 by 20 or 20 by 30, that would be used for squadron. We would use those, and their duty obligation responsibility would just basically um, preserve whatever operations, whether they be greenhouse operations or whether they be for the biodiesel refining operation, or if it's just for a location where we locate the generators that we use to generate power. There are a series of things that we're going to have to do now as a consequence of certain technologies finally being within our grasp, and as a consequence of uh, the two folks that just recently amalgamated into the venue and where they're being assigned. Uh, it'll be a while to stand them up with particular training, but once we get them there, we will be able to proceed into certain things that will allow us to enhance how we're doing a particular trade now. And as we get there, it will open up other doors for us for other things that we have lined up to do once we have particular manpower in place to perform particular duties, so that we can begin to engage in the trade at a level that is more in line with what we were expecting. We have seen a little more trade this year. We have picked up the pace in a couple of things, but other things have fallen by the wayside, so it's kind of balanced itself out. It'll be interesting. Well, it'll be very interesting to see how certain things go with the garments that we're trading now. The women's line finally coming online as it is, well, about to be anyway. It's not. I can't say it is. We finally get those things straightened out and brought to bear on the market. Well, that will expand our trade in that particular regard as well. It is the trade that we have done thus far that has kept things at a relatively decent level. Again, our gold intake is down, but the silver trade, the silver that we accrue, has most certainly gone up because our trade has gone up. Um, it's not massive numbers and nothing at the container rate, but we're doing the things and we're holding our own. And so, as the silver that we accrue has increased, it's offsetting the losses from the gold that we have experienced for quite some time now. As things around the planet continue along the path that they're going, it's forcing folks' hands in a lot of different areas. Some folks are gravitating towards other things, and some folks are gravitating towards um, a more frugal sense of taking care of their responsibilities. And so, as they tighten their belts, other parties are feeling it. And as we do things in this jurisdiction, we don't cater to things that's whimsical. We basically trade food things, health things, and clothing things. And that's not a whim, that's a demand. Folks are going to require particular things for survival long term. And we cater more to those things than trinkets and things that are fads. Um, there are those who they they stake their position, win, lose, or draw, on bringing a product to market such as um, I don't know, particular video games, and after X amount of time that video game being on the market, it gets replaced because there's new technologies, new advances in graphics and all these other things, and CGI and all that other stuff, and it makes those games obsolete and they get pushed off the shelf. And then you see what happened with particular companies with their game consoles. They had to go through all types of contortions just to make a profit because they basically overpriced them, and folks said, well, hey, with the economic conditions being what they were, they had to pick and choose between acquiring game consoles and games and eating, or being able to have fuel to get back and forth to go do trade. And basically those whimsical things fell by the wayside. And now parties who consider themselves to be well-to-do have found themselves in a situation where they too have had to tighten up their belts. And so we're grateful that things are what they are. We trade in things that folks require. We trade what folks need, not opposed to some of their wants. Because wants are whims, and that's very, very dangerous to do. It's quicksand, and if you're going to engage in quicksand, you got to be prepared for the consequences, and you can't cry about it.